Hello, my friend. Let's begin with something deeply familiar. The scent of fresh pages in a new journal at the start of the year. The quiet of a Monday morning, when you, full of resolve, sit down at your desk to plan your week, your life. You pick up a pen, and before the first mark touches the paper, a quiet, insistent, and painfully reasonable voice speaks up in your mind. It sounds like the voice of common sense, like a wise advisor. It whispers, "Be realistic. Let's not get carried away. Don't set the bar too high, because if you don't make it, it will hurt. Disappointment is a treacherous thing. Let's take it slow, step by step. Small wins are more important than big ambitions." And we, like diligent students, obey this voice. We build neat, low fences around our ambitions. We set reasonable goals: to lose 10 pounds because 50 sounds like a fantasy, to earn 10% more because dreaming of a tenfold increase is childish, isn't it? To read 12 books a year, one per month. It's so logical and achievable. We become the architects of our own cozy, predictable, and perfectly safe reality. This is our comfort zone. A world where good is a synonym for great, and enough is the ultimate dream. And we live in this world, day after day, year after year, walking carefully along the beaten path, proud of our realism. But here is the strangeness, the pebble in the shoe that makes the walk uneasy. Why is it that while living in this reasonable and safe world, we so often feel a quiet, nagging emptiness? Why is there a low-frequency hum of a question deep inside? Is this all there is? Why do our achievable goals, when we finally reach them, fail to bring that overwhelming joy, but rather a fleeting satisfaction that vanishes like mist at sunrise? What if this very realistic approach, this cult of moderation, is the most sophisticated trap of all? What if, by aiming for an average result, we are unconsciously signing up for a life of hidden, permanent anxiety? Imagine this. You build a dam designed for an average water level. But life is not an average level. Life is sudden downpours and droughts. An economic storm hits, and your average level of savings is washed away by the first wave. A personal crisis occurs, and your average career, your average efforts, prove to be completely insufficient to stay afloat. You're like a frog in slowly heating water. You're comfortable in your norm until one day you realize you've been boiled. The middle is a failing formula, says our guide for today. And this thought, my friend, hits like a slap in the face. It creates that unbearable internal itch. The realization that our usual survival strategy might actually be a strategy for slowly drowning. And in that moment, a sharp, almost physical need for a completely different approach is born. Something that will pull us out of this warm but deadly water. And here he enters the stage, Grant Cardone. He doesn't resemble the traditional gurus of wisdom. He is not a philosopher in a toga, meditating on a mountaintop. He is an energy vortex in a perfectly tailored business suit. A man whose ideas at first seem insane, illogical, even aggressive. He doesn't suggest we raise the bar a little. He suggests we blow it to smithereens. He doesn't say try a little harder. He shouts, multiply everything by 10. His central idea sounds like a challenge. To hit the bullseye, you have to aim above the target. And this, my friend, is our invitation. An invitation to leave the cozy, predictable world of realistic goals and step into the unknown, into a world of apparent chaos. A world where the rules of logic and gradual progress give way to something far more primal and powerful. Let's, for a moment, set aside our inner skeptic, our voice of reason, and see what lies behind this provocative idea. Let's journey together into the world of the 10x rule. This journey may be uncomfortable, but I promise you it will be captivating. So, we've crossed the threshold, and the first thing we discover in Cardone's world is his map of human action. He says that all of us are constantly operating on one of 4 levels, and our first task on this path is to honestly identify where we are. The first level is inaction. This is the state when we have completely given up. We don't even try, but we actively convince ourselves and others that it's impossible. I'd start a business, but there's a recession. I'd go to the gym, but I have no time. Just think about it. This isn't passivity. It's an active, energy-consuming process of self-sabotage. The energy isn't spent on action, but on creating convincing excuses. The second level is retreat. This is even more tragic. Here, we don't just stand still, we actively move backward, in fear. It's a fortress built from the bricks of past failures. The person who once got burned in the stock market and now keeps all their money under the mattress. They are in retreat. The girl who was betrayed and now fears any relationship. She is retreating. They spend colossal energy avoiding life. And the third level? Oh, my friend, here it is. The great middle-class trap. The level of average or normal action. This is the world that all of society applauds. It's what we're taught from childhood. Go to work. Do what's required of you. Don't stick your neck out. Get your average salary. Live in your average house. We become perfect cogs in a giant machine. We are like a hamster on a wheel. We run. We get tired. We even sweat. But the scenery outside the window never changes. We do enough not to get fired or evicted, but we never do enough to truly break free from the wheel. And it's this level that Cardone calls the most dangerous, because it looks acceptable. It masquerades as stability. And so, wading through these 3 levels, we search. We search for an exit, a secret passage, that 4th way. And here it is, the climactic moment of our journey, the aha moment, the treasure we were seeking, the 4th level of action. Cardone calls it massive action, and this is the essence of the 10x rule. It's as simple as a hammer blow, but its consequences change everything. It consists of 2 inseparable parts that only work together. First, set targets that are 10 times greater than what you believe you can achieve, and even a little bigger than what scares you. Not just to earn $1 million, but to aim for 10 million. Not to write 1 book, but to create a best-selling series that will change an industry. Why? Because small, realistic goals don't have enough gravitational pull. They don't ignite a fire within. You'll easily give up on a goal to run a tank at the first serious obstacle. But it's much harder to give up on a goal to run an ultra-marathon and raise $1 million for charity. A huge goal generates huge energy. And the second, most crucial part, take 10 times the action you initially thought would be necessary to achieve even that gigantic goal. Don't make 10 calls a day, make 100. Don't write 1 social media post, create a storm of content that fills the entire information space. Why? Because we humans are pathologically bad at estimating reality. We underestimate the amount of time, money, energy, the number of rejections, the number of obstacles and random misfortunes that will befall us. By multiplying everything by 10, we create such an incredible margin of safety, such an insane momentum, that most problems simply can't keep up with us. We don't wait for luck. We create so many attempts that by the law of probability, we are bound to succeed. This is not magic. It is the mathematics of success raised to the power of obsession. But my friend, every great treasure comes with a price, and the price for the 10x rule is steep. And I'm not just talking about sleepless nights or missed parties. The first and most obvious price is your social comfort. The moment you start operating at a 10x level, the world around you will split. You will be called obsessed, a show-off, a workaholic, a maniac. Your normal friends and relatives, those living on the third level, will start giving you advice. Relax. Why do you need all this? You work too much. Life is passing you by. They don't mean harm. They are simply trying to pull you back into their cozy and safe swamp, and you will have to choose either their approval or your great goal. The second price is the willingness to create new problems. Cardone says, if you don't have problems, you're not taking enough action. When you operate at a 10x level, you get a whole different class of problems. Not where do I find one client, but how do I hire and train a team to serve 100 new clients? These are problems of growth. They are high-quality problems, but they are still problems that demand solutions. And the highest, most personal price is the complete and unconditional refusal of excuses. At the 10x level, there is no room for phrases like, I didn't have time, the market is bad, or I was unlucky. There is only you, your gigantic goal, and massive action. This requires absolute 100% ownership. And this is perhaps the hardest part. To accept that everything, absolutely everything, both success and failure, is a direct result of your actions or lack thereof. It is a battle not with the world, but with your own ego, with the desire to find someone else to blame. And now, having paid the price and claimed the treasure, let's return to our familiar world, to that same journal and pen. How do you look at your life now? That problem at work that everyone ignores is no longer the boss's headache. It's an opportunity for you to take initiative, to 10x a solution and become indispensable. A client's rejection is not a reason for despair, but a signal to immediately make 20 more calls because your activity is so high that one failure is just a statistical anomaly. You return to the same office, the same family, the same city, but with a completely different operating system in your mind. You cease to be a victim of circumstances and become their creator. Criticism no longer hurts. It becomes an indicator on your dashboard that says, "Attention! You are attracting energy. You are being noticed. Keep going." You begin to feed on what used to kill you. At the end of this journey, you are changed. You are no longer the person who builds fences around their ambitions, afraid of disappointment. You become an explorer of your own, true potential. The 10x rule is not a dogma to be blindly followed. It is an extreme philosophy, a powerful tool that, like a defibrillator, sends a shock to our hearts and forces us to ask the ultimate question, what if I am capable of so much more? It's not about working 24/7 until you burn out. It's about ensuring that during the hours you do work, you work with 10x focus. When you're with your family, you are with them with 10x presence. It's about thinking without limits and acting with an energy and belief as if your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. You are now the master of two worlds. You understand the logic of the normal, average world, but you are no longer its slave. You choose to operate by the laws of a world of limitless possibilities, bringing that incredible energy into your ordinary life. And the main question that remains with us after this journey is this: what would your life be like if, from this moment on, you began to think and act as if your true potential were 10 times greater than you ever dared to imagine? Thank you for walking this path with me, my friend. This was a deep and challenging topic. And this conversation is just one spark from our shared campfire. The 10x rule is one of many tools, one of many maps on the journey to a conscious and successful life. There are so many more discoveries ahead, so many ideas waiting for us to explore them together. If this approach resonates with you, if you want to continue diving into wisdom that changes how you see the world, become part of our circle. Subscribe to the channel and let's continue this journey together. Until next time.